I find myself constantly asking myself or preparing myself to others, ask another person, is something wrong with me? Is something wrong with me? How can I ask another imperfect human being if something is wrong with me? Now, I have a couple of things wrong. I have a few bones to pick with this issue that I'm having. Things work better when I write them down, so is something wrong with me? So this involves me posing a question. First of all, I'm looking for an answer. So that's the first thing. I'm looking for an answer. Then I have to factor in, am I looking for the truth, or am I looking for what I think is wrong with me or right with me or my own perception of me? So I'm looking for an answer. I'm looking for the answer that I agree with. And then we also have to factor in the definition of wrong. Is something wrong with me? Is something wrong with me? Wrong is the opposite of right. Right to me would be, the definition of right would be accurate. So the definition of wrong to me would be I'm trying to look for a synonym to inaccurate. The definition of wrong would be the definition of wrong. This is my whole point. So in the Bible, I mean, it is in the Bible that thou shalt not kill. But in the Bible, Moses killed someone that was harming his family. Is it wrong to kill in self-defense? Is it wrong to do right in the sight of your own perspective? So the problem that I'm having with this question that I'm asking is something wrong with me. I'm looking for an answer. I'm looking for an answer that I would agree with. I'm looking for whoever I'm asking to have the same definition of wrong as I have. And nobody knows what wrong is, because in the Bible it says that we shall not judge. We should rely not on our own understanding, but of God's understanding. So if we are following protocol in that way and being obedient to God's word, we wouldn't know. Because, I mean, on the surface, we know what right and wrong is. We know Satan's ways and we know God's ways. But as far as judging, having an opinion on someone's being or someone's actions, I know that the person that I was before, even in the beginning of this year, I decided to dedicate my life extremely, totally, immensely to God. But before this year started, and it's about to end soon. Before this year started, I can look back and say that God was in my heart, or God was in my head, but he wasn't in my heart. Or God was in my heart, but wasn't in my head. Either way, what I said didn't coincide with how I felt. What I felt didn't coincide with what I did. What I did didn't coincide with what I believed in. So, to put it simply, I knew God existed. I feel really embarrassed to say that my opinion about him was altered by how I felt about myself. As I started not to love myself anymore, it was hard to love my creator. I knew I had a creator. I knew that I am suspended in this planet Earth, in his galaxy, surrounded by his other planets. But I didn't know why it was so much pain on Earth, why it was so much crying and tears and death and bad accidents and sickness and, just all these thoughts of suicide, of homicide, of hate. And as I thought about where I had came from before I had fell into this deep, dark place, I took responsibility. I came up looking at other people's situations, judging them with a biased heart. Oh, you have cancer of the throat. You shouldn't have been smoking. Or, oh, you're obese. You shouldn't be eating that much or at that place that many times a day. Or, oh, you have acne scars. Well, don't bust your bumps. Oh, you don't have this or that. You didn't work for it. You didn't study for it. Things of that nature I took responsibility for until I made a decision to be with somebody and try to fill a void for me. I've told myself for too long that it was to help him, but I'm sure it was to help me, or fill a lonely void, or some type of void. I don't know. But it wasn't all to fix him. It was for me. And I take that responsibility at this moment. But I didn't understand how hard it is to take responsibility. And I've been studying this, or I'll say I've been thinking of it for quite a while now, about how Adam blamed everything on Eve, and Eve blamed everything on Satan. It's like responsibility really is, it gets beside us. It's not the first thing we go to. When a person cheats on somebody, it's always, I never did it, it's a lie, or, it's not the full truth. If you're caught, it's deflection, it's It's not, I did this, I'm ready to take responsibility of whatever comes after this. It's never like that. And it wasn't like that for me neither. Like, when everything started falling apart in my life, I don't want to say that I blamed God, but I blamed everybody but me. I went back as far as to childhood. My mom didn't give me as much love as I wanted. Favoritism was present as I was growing up. Isolation happened without nobody knowing, nobody asking, nobody caring, nobody being persistent. I worked hard to be not a statistic, and it wasn't appreciated. Gossip in the family tore me up. Lies tore me up. School relationships tore me up. Friendships tore me up. I say all that to say that because I was so emotionally detached from my own decisions, everything began to continuously spiral out of control. So now I understand that one decision, or maybe even, well, no, I'm gonna say one decision because a circumstance does not make you. A circumstance does not break you. I can testify to that. But a decision to allow it to make or break you does so. So I would say that one decision that you have the power to make, that I had the power to make, I either misjudged and made wrong, or I didn't make it. Delayed obedience is disobedience. And some things I put off until 6 years later. Some things I never made a final cut, dry decision about. Some things I let linger. Some things I let affect me. And it leads me always to this question: is something wrong with me? And I was constantly looking for appreciation in a relationship. I was constantly looking for affection in a relationship. And all that is good and fine. But from who? From another human being that was put on this earth exactly how I was, that bleeds the exact same blood, that dies the same. Dust we are, to dust we return. That makes no sense. I mean, I knew that before I thought I knew something. I knew that a person on this earth could never fulfill me. Could never fulfill me. They play roles. People play roles in this earth, but fulfillment comes from God. I was thinking about my definition of peace, and the internet describes it as it describes it as like immovable, disturbance free. It's disturbance free tranquility, or disturbance free stability, or something like that. But my definition of it, I was thinking of it the other day, is the immovable stability of belief. The immovable stability of belief of oneself, from one's God, from one's source. No. The immovable stability of belief, of fulfillment of oneself, from one's God, that is unmatched. I'm not sure if I said that, but it's unmatched. Nothing else can do it. Nothing else can say it. Nothing else can do it. And that's why I believe the Bible tells us to wait till marriage to, be sexual and things of that nature, because a lot comes with that. A lot comes with that. A lot of growing comes with that. It's like being a baby and buying a baby a size 12 shoe and letting them walk around in it until they actually grow into it. And by that time, the shoe is not flopping all over the place. It's not falling off. You're not losing it a mile back. It's stability when you grow into it. It's a tightness of the shoe. You get to tie the shoestrings right. You get precise with how you want your shoestrings to be this tight, or how you want your shoestrings tucked in. But as a baby, a shoe is a shoe. A shoe is a shoe. And I know I'm getting off topic, but to get back to the point, is something wrong with me? You know what is wrong with you, because it prompts you to ask, is something wrong with me? Arrogant people, the most wrong with people on this earth are not asking, what is wrong with me? The ones that are asking, wondering, and worrying about is usually the ones that have the room and have the accountability and have the self-awareness to change whatever that is internal, that is off balance with oneself. And I declare and decree that in 2021, I will not rely on anyone or anything's answer to this question that I had about myself in this year to define me. My one, only, and true relationship is with Jehovah God. And that'll never change. It'll never change. So maybe something is wrong with me. But who am I? Who are you to have this exchange? This is between me and God. And it gets very weird because I've heard some people doing really unimaginable, unthinkable things in the world, like shooting up churches and stuff, talking about they doing God's work. That's not God's work. And then it's kind of crazy because God says to serve only Him and not subject ourselves to other gods. So there are other gods. Jehovah is the only one and true God. But there is idols. There is deities that other people serve, and that causes destruction and disruption in their minds to cause them to do something abruptly, rashly, and demonic as such. But I'm speaking from a standpoint of confidence. Pure, self-defining, God-defining confidence. Confidence in prayer. Confidence in stability. Confidence in self. Confidence in God. Confidence in love. Confidence in patience. Confidence in kingdom, the kingdom of God. Basically, that everything will work out. And everything will work out. That's what I know. That's what I know. That's what I've seen. That's what I've heard. That's why I'm here. Because everything worked out. And everything will continue to work out. He is the Alpha and the Omega. He has no beginning and no end. He is the creator of amazing. He is the creator of immaculate. He is the creator of stars. He is the creator of everything. Literally. There's no argument towards it. And if you argue with that, you're Satan the devil. Or that's who you follow. Refuser. Refuser of what's right. Refuser of what's true. Refuser of what is. So, this, I believe, is for me, and maybe for somebody else. There's something wrong with me. It speaks to people not being confident or whole in themselves, in their belief, in them in one's belief about themselves, to see is really yourself. Is God, your relationship with God, how you define yourself and how you accept yourself. If you don't want to accept other people's opinion, don't. You don't want to accept a doctor's prognosis, don't. You don't want to accept your own thoughts about yourself sometimes, especially if it's negative, don't. Satan uses the media. Satan uses your own thoughts. Satan uses sometimes family. Satan uses sometimes close friends. Satan uses relationships. Satan uses food. Satan uses ideologies to get us down on ourselves and hurt people. So once you don't like yourself, how can anybody else? You set the tone for your respect. You set the tone for your love. You set the tone for your time here. And God tells you how to do that. Every day, in every way. He never leaves you. He never forsakes you. You have to give him praise. You have to thank him for what he has delivered you from. You have to acknowledge him. You cannot do this alone. You are not breathing alone. You are not bleeding alone. Loneliness does not exist. God is omniscient and omnipotent. He is everywhere. He knows everything. You have to know that. You have to know that. I have to know that.